So there's all kinds of things that have to get dealt with when it comes to this idea of going to go race at Gravel Locos. And I realize that. I'm a long way off, but it's also not that far away. When you're talking about having a little bit of training time left to do of like 7 months, when I've had a lot of time off this year and injuries and things, it's not that far away. There's travel things that have to get figured out. And there's also, it's going to be a mental struggle to be able to push myself to do this event. Mental fitness tip of the day. You don't know until you know. So there's all kinds of things that have to get done in preparation for Gravel Locos. And, the easiest thing to do is to go deal with the bike. Thinking about what mentally it's going to take to get over the hump and be able to perform. The commitment to training, that's a lot of time that I'm going to be on the trainer this winter. There's a lot of things that have to get figured out. But right now, in October, we happen to have some good weather, and so it was a great opportunity to go start thinking about bike stuff. And it might not seem that big of a deal, but I'm somebody that I have a lot of options. And when I have a lot of options, sometimes I can be indecisive. I know that the people around me are going to think that that's crazy, but it can be true. I've been riding the STS Adventure, and I love it. That's what I rode at the Harvest 50. That's the thing that I've been training on. And, I recently we did a thing where we rode 4 of the STS models, and there was one section that when I was climbing on the Explorer Pro, I fell in love. And I'm like, okay, this is a good bike. So I've got 3 STS models here at the house, and I need to decide which one do I want to ride. I've got the Killer, I've got the Adventure, and the Adventure is what I've been riding on. And I'm kind of wondering about the Explorer, that might be the answer. The Explorer it's an endurance monster. That's the thing that I like to say. It's great for long distance. And so after doing the 5 and 50 where I rode the Explorer for a little bit, it's just kind of been in the back of my mind. Have I given that bike a full, given it the full chance to be the bike that I ride? And the answer, flat out, is just no. So last week, having a little bit of good weather, it just kind of dawned on me, hey, let's go ahead and start trying to figure this thing out. So I've had some adjustments, changed some parts, things like that, figure out tires for now. And so Thursday, I decided when we had a beautiful day, it was sunny, 76 degrees. Let's take the Explorer out and go see how it goes. And I do the same little training route around Rushville where there's trying to find the biggest hills close to town, which pretty much don't exist. There's not a lot of elevation here. And I took the Explorer to go see if this, if I can figure out if I really want to ride this. And I didn't get it half a mile away from the house. I'm going by Kate's house, and I'm just going, there's something that's wrong. Something's not right. And my first thought is, okay, did I grab the wrong cranks? When I was building it, because I built it real soon, right before the 5 and 50, I said, maybe I grabbed the wrong box. So I'll check that when I get home. And then just the gearing seemed off. I'm like, this is too easy. It's too hard. No, it's all too easy. The crank seems small. Something's not right. And it kind of reminded me of the thing that I say all the time. You don't know until you know. So I went home after riding and put the bike away. That's it. Because I was like, I should have said time to start digging into it. But I'm like, I'll just do something different. On Friday, I rode inside on the trainer. And then after my ride Friday, I started looking at the numbers. Check the bike out. It's got the exact same cranks. I run a 170 crank with a 46 tooth 1x chainring. And on the Adventure, it's 2x. But I just leave it in the 46 because there's no reason. There's just no hills to have to climb. And so I'm sitting there thinking, if I'm running a 46 with a 170, what's the difference? And then I pulled out my gear ratio. Because it's got to be in the gear ratio. and I look at my gear ratios and where I spend the majority of my time, because around here, if you've cleaned as many bikes as I've cleaned for people, people spend their time in 3 gears. And on the Adventure, it was the 15, 17, 19, 46 by 15, 17, 19. And on the Explorer, it was the 15, 17, 19 cog. So what's the difference? I flipped over to Strava, take a look at Strava, and come to find out the same route on the Explorer where I felt uncomfortable, I was faster. What's going on? You know what? You don't know until you know. It's the dumbest thing. But looking down as I'm riding down the road, I'm in a different spot on the cassette, and I just don't like it. It's the 6 gear, 6 cog on the Adventure right now because I'm running 1130. Because again, there's no hills, and it's like the 4th on the Explorer. So I felt stupid. I'm looking at it going, you should know better than this. But it just didn't feel right. So there could, but there's nothing. There's no reason to feel that way. I rode the bike again and loved it. Now that there's not this thing nagging at me, I absolutely loved it. So my endeavor to go do a bike thing, to start focusing on the bike and not have to worry about the other stuff that's going to be more difficult. Getting myself to where I feel like I need to be smaller physically. I feel like I need to be faster. I need to be stronger. All of those things are going to be hard to deal with. I wanted to do the easy one. Getting myself into a situation that I'm mentally tough enough to do this. Again, I wanted to do something easier. But the first thing that I learned is something I say all the time. You don't know until you know. You got to check things out. So when it comes to your bicycle, my advice would be take a look. I'm finding out that, looking at, because I've been on Strava for a while, there's rides that I did on a carbon fiber bike, a large brand of carbon fiber bike that I did buy a while back. I'm actually 5 years older and faster on my STS gravel bike. And why is that? It's got to be a good reason for it. And I think that there is. Just heard a dog in the backyard. We don't have a dog. Ask the questions of somebody that knows. And even if you think you know, because maybe you're supposed to know stuff, sometimes you need to investigate. I'm glad that I did. So what I have learned is that I love the Explorer Pro. And I hate to say it, but Steve Hirschberger, you're right, buddy. And I love my Adventure. And I love the Gravel Killer. But right now, leading the way is the Explorer. What I have learned that will help me at Gravel Locos is that I need an answer to the question, what gears should I set this thing up for? So I've solved one problem, but have created more. But in terms of the journey that we're all on, you don't know until you know. I think it's one of the things we do in our life, too many people do, is that we assume that we have the answer of maybe it's what somebody else is thinking or whatever. And we just go with it. And sometimes it's just better to wait and find out or ask a question. It's been a running theme in my life here lately. And it kind of started, I was watching a guy, his YouTube channel, his name is Peter Santinello, and he does fantastic journalism where he goes and he just talks to people on the street. And so he's tackled things like the drug issues in Appalachia. He's been in, does all kinds of cool travels, but he also went to the southern border. And I, like a lot of people, thought, sitting here in Indiana, I understand the issue of the southern border. And it was fascinating because I know I'm watching people that I disagree with in their politics. I know that I would disagree with them, but I believe everything they're saying, that it's heartfelt, and they want to solve the problem. And I'm watching people that I know I agree, I know I disagree, but they're good people who are trying to solve a problem on that local level. and I don't know anything. I don't know. I like that kind of thing, though. I like when I realize that I need to learn something. So my mental fitness tip of the day is you don't know until you know. If you go around thinking that you know exactly what's going on and you don't, you can build a whole lot of anxiety. I'm heading on my way next spring to Gravel Locos, and I have a crap ton of anxiety. I'm very nervous about it. I'm very worried that I'm going to fail myself in doing training, and all of this is going to be a waste of time. That is what I know. But I also know I have a lot of people around me where I can get advice, I can get encouragement, and we can make this thing happen. So today, I'm going to go with what I know. I'm going to go ride my bike.